Women-driven discussions. Women's Day will be on Wednesday, 9th of March, 2023. And obviously, our insight today is looking at women in business, but this time on women in digitally driven businesses. What are the opportunities available for working in this digital space, and what challenges are encountered in here, and how to deal with these particular challenges is what we're going to be looking at with our Smb Insight. Let's first take a look at it, and we'll be right back.
When I talk about the opportunities of operating in the digital space, I have engaged my product in the digital space, and I must say that I am enjoying that opportunity. In terms of promotion, you will find that promoting online or marketing strategies online, you reach several people as compared to the traditional marketing. Previously, we were using billboards, we were using flyers, and you find that there were challenges that had to come with that. That, say, if you put a billboard, for those who do billboards, you put a billboard, it means people who normally use that route are the ones who will have knowledge of your product. Or if you use flyers, you must target which areas you are going to send those flyers. But when it comes to digital marketing, you can promote your product online, and with boosting, you can find that in a day, you can reach over 2,500 people. So that has been an opportunity when it comes to the digital space. And as well, it offers multiple sources of income, in terms of if you have your product in the supermarket and then you have a client who has appreciated that product on social media, they would want to purchase it directly from you, or you can refer them to the nearest branch, say a supermarket, where they can purchase that product, implying that you're increasing on your clientele or consumer base, but also widening the product knowledge. And also, social media has simplified our businesses, or my business, in the sense that right from where I am even now, I can promote my product. No one will know that I am promoting the product, but anytime, anywhere, at your convenience, you can promote the product. And with every promotion, there is high possibility of making trade. So in terms of the digital space, there are so many advantages that I would encourage SMEs to take on. And one of them is that it only doesn't have to do with social media. It also has to do with improving your operational systems. I'll give an example. About 3-4 years ago, I implemented a management information system for my company. Previously, I was undergoing losses. I could not account. Accountability was a problem. Salespeople would take the product and you delay to account. But when you have a system that follows the processes from production to accounts to human resource to customer care, you get to the sales team, and even a system that is able to ensure that you register the expiries and damages, it will work itself out. All you have to do is to ensure that your sales team and all other departments are trained, and this system works within a period of time. If a sales team comes in, they have a particular number of hours within which they must input all their details. And 2, the moment you input and you have made an error, there is no room for you to edit. So editing also has its limits to who edits, implying that there is a lot of monitoring and evaluation. It limits losses. It limits people who come to institutions or to companies just wanting to make money from you. It also limits issues of people handling money. We've also had situations, we need accountants, but many accountants have run away with companies' money. So these are systems that enable you to have an on-time track. And as an MD from your office, you can monitor transactions 24 hours. So those are the advantages that have come with operating in the digital space. And this system here, actually, I got this funding from Private Sector Foundation, and I was able to implement it, and it has come with its advantages even along the production process. As SMEs, we know that today, if you're producing something and you need to put in 2 kilos of sugar, tomorrow you may forget and put 2.5, meaning that the way your product tastes today, the output will be different tomorrow. Why? Because we have not streamlined our production processes. But if you have a system that can know that if I am producing chili, I must register this is the chili I'm producing, then automatically it brings the quantities you're supposed to use for you. What are you doing? You are, one, ensuring that your product quality is sustained. What a client has today has to be the same with what they purchase tomorrow. So those have been the opportunities that I have had with working in the digital space. And also it has simplified. URA is telling you online. URSB is telling you online. From your desk, you can transact with all the institutions pertaining to the business. Remember before, you had to get a border to go to URSB, isn't it? That is time. The same border has to take you where? To URA. But with the digital space, you can work with all these entities even after midnight because the systems are fully operational. There are no limits as compared to previously, where you had to be at their office. If you're not there by 5, the officer has left. But today, even at 8 p.m., you can sit on your table and say, you know what, I have this filing to do. Let me go ahead with it. So those have been the opportunities. And when it comes to the challenges, one thing we must know is that when you are operating in Uganda and you have your trademark with URSB, that one works within the national boundaries of Uganda. The digital space takes your product beyond the boundaries of Uganda. Someone in Kenya will have your product. Someone in Tanzania will have your product. And imagine if you're operating in the digital space, your orders are in the digital space. Then someone picks up an interest in your product and they're in TZ. They can trademark that brand in TZ, meaning that you cannot go and use that same brand or you will incur high costs to use it in TZ. So the challenge is that most of us women in business are not knowledgeable about what we must do, what requirements we must fulfill to safeguard our products, because the digital space is open, it's boundless. But also we must be able to meet certain requirements to safeguard your products beyond the boundaries of Uganda. Because one day you'll wake up and say, I want to go to TZ. Then as you're putting your product there, you'll end up having a court case because you are promoting a product whose brand does not belong to you. You made the brand, but someone ran very fast to the, I think, let me say the URSB of TZ and trademarked your brand, meaning that you either have to purchase it from them or you have to engage in court matters, which are costly. Those are the challenges of the digital space. Many SMEs have not yet gone that route or experienced it, but it is a future challenge where we are going to incur losses. Another challenge is the data expense. We must acknowledge, as my fellow man in business has mentioned, that transacting online comes with expenses. There is data, mobile data, even in Uganda when you pay MTN, 5,000 shillings for 3 days. Imagine how much that will cost if you pay daily. Then even if you don't pay daily and you pay for a week, you may end up using that data in less than a week. Why? Because you're trading with several institutions, and marketing online, especially when you're dealing with videos and the like, those are consuming. Another challenge is that we are not knowledgeable about what we must do to trade online. I know that many people in this room may know, but the issue is that we are a very small percentage compared to those that have not made it today. But the issue is how many women in business know how to trade online. How many know that there is even TikTok today? And TikTok is not only for fun, but it can also be used for business. There are over 6 platforms that women in business can trade on. But you find that you may be in only 2, and you're very comfortable that I'm online, I'm operating in the digital space. But are we abreast with the developments that are coming up on social media? Do we know how many platforms and for which purpose? And 2, how to package our products to promote them. Because there is a way you can package it on TikTok to make sure that it gets the numbers. There is a way you can package it on LinkedIn for it to appear professional. There is a way you can package it on Facebook to appeal to the Facebook clients. Do we have that knowledge? How must we package our products to suit the respective platforms in which we are? Secondly, to be a woman in business, we may not put on suits every day, but when you go on LinkedIn, your product must appear like a woman in a suit. So you must know, if I am going to use these various platforms, how am I supposed to appeal to the respective platforms and meet the needs of those clients that I'm targeting on those platforms? So that one there is a challenge that I have witnessed, and also the ability to use software. Recommendations I would have for all of us is, one, is for the institutions to continue sensitization. URA, URSB, all the institutions that affect the women in business must continue with sensitization programs. One, for us to continuously appreciate these online transactions. Today, I was blessed to sit next to a URA official, and I must say I was blessed. Why? Because each time you have an opportunity like that, you utilize it, you get to know. There were days when we thought URA was, you get it, you would not even go near. You see an officer, you go under the table. But these days things are being simplified. You get to know so many things. So my advice is sensitization must be a continuous process. There was a time when there was a lot of sensitization about EFRIS. Women in business were always called for that sensitization program. I have not seen the head of that program for a long time, yet they are upcoming women in business. So URSB, URA, Ministry of Trade, and all other entities must have that continuous arrangement. And as well, we also know that we belong to associations. There's your will, there's your SARE, there are others coming up. As women in business, let us be in those associations, because most of these programs are a continuous process in those associations. Why? When they identify a need, they normally put up workshops, invite the women in business to come and listen in and forge a way forward. So let's continue being members of those. And I must admit I'm a culprit. I must renew mine as well. So another thing is the ministries must interlink. They must be interlinkage to make sure that we have a holistic approach to addressing some of these challenges. I'll give an example. Oftentimes we can have meetings, but there is one entity that is always missing, and that is URSB. And yet intellectual property is so critical to advancing the woman in business. Our products must make sure, like I may know what to do when I go to URA, but there are many who do not know that they have also to run to URSB. So you must find that this interlinkage is good. That if you go to URA, you'll find something, or maybe a desk of URSB for sensitization. Or when you go to URSB, you will find an office of URA. Or when you go to the Ministry of Trade, there is an office for all these people. Why? We must know where to go to at the right time and not wait for when it is too late to start saying, oh, so you mean we need to protect our products? I always tell people that if I wanted to make business from Ugandans, I would make it. Why? I would protect your products for you, come to you and you purchase it from me, and I will make my money. Why? Because most of our products are not protected, are not trademarked. So I hope no one here is hearing who does.
All right, of course. That has been our SMB Insight this morning, rotating around women inclusion in the digital space, and pretty much looking at women who are into the business world, but obviously rotating around using digitally driven conversations or digitally driven measures to run business. But, well, when you look at some of the challenges that have been highlighted is lack of awareness and skills in there. So there should be a lot of giving awareness and of course reminding people on how to utilize these spaces. The digital space provides a lot of opportunities for those who know how to use it, I should say. And obviously that is kind of the same way as to why some of the things do happen and do occur. And obviously that is where the discussion has been with the SMB Insight. But of course, still rotating around the same kind of conversation is the fact that this week will be Women's Day, and we have a woman on set now, Samla Hanifa. Hanifa, before we even dive into our conversation, by the look of things, what do you think should be celebrated this year about the women? And of course, by the look of things as well, what do you think the government, policy makers should consider while making policies for the women?
Women. First of all, I'm glad that the president considered appointing so many ministers who are women. So women in leadership should be celebrated, actually, yeah. Except for a few things that are happening in the leadership now that most of them might face censure, which is quite sad. But women in leadership should be celebrated this year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And many thanks for joining us this Monday, though.
Thank you.
I did welcome you onto the spotlight again. And of course, what do you have for us? We have a lot of trends within the world of business, but of course, we normally have you on set here in regards to a lot to expect, especially in the bulletin that is Business Today, and also looking back at what has been happening in the world of business. Of course, last week when you were here, we discussed about pretty much the Karamoja saga. You did not return, I think, to give us what really happened afterwards. But what we do know so far is that in the same report that you covered, is that the minister, Chitutu, apparently apologized.
Yeah, she did.
So after the apologies for misusing the Iron Sheet saga, regardless of the fact that members of parliament want her censored, I don't know whether the committee will forgive her or not. But we'll come on board.
Yeah, it all depends on to what parliament decides on that day. Okay. If someone comes out and apologizes, and explains the whole saga, the whole situation, and how these iron sheets were diverted. Perhaps, if someone is apologetic, perhaps she might be forgiven. But she still says she has to come back with more information on what drove her to divert those iron sheets. Actually, I think according to her, because you can tell from her facial expression that she's under some pressure, some kind of pressure. I know that big people, big names are still implicated in this issue.
She's on a script.
Not really a script. I think she's under some kind of pressure. She wants to expose. she wants to bring out the real truth around this iron sheet thing. But I think some forces are trying to tell her, please be on the script, just apologize. But she wants to reveal exactly what happened, because it is so surprising that so many iron sheets were diverted to big names. So many ministers are implicated, and it could not have been only her decision in this whole thing. Now, like my colleague here, Andrew was like, she had not to apologize.
She had to apologize to the possible beneficiaries, the Karamajungs. When we talk, because as we're having this discussion, you told me that there were representatives, but at some point I feel like the representatives are more, I cannot really trust the representatives, but the person that is liable to receive this apology is this person staying, a pregnant mother in Karamoja, is probably they're sleeping in a house whereby they don't even know what tomorrow is going to be like. Winds coming in through, the rains coming in through. That person doesn't have a TV set, that person can access newspapers. So that is the person that needs to hear that apology, in my own sense. And I would also call for, if there was a way she could resign immediately. I mean, that would be quite.
Of course,
that apology would be would be complete.
Andrew has got double standards here. The last time we had an argument of resignation, he did say honestly, the Minister Betty Amongi should not resign.
Exactly.
Now you're throwing a huge stone to the minister. But on my side of the view, I apparently thought I still think. I don't know. My kind of, in my opinion, I still don't understand why, when it comes to money going in, for example, iron sheets, why we have to give money to ministers. I actually thought the government should, I actually thought it would be better if the government would get money and, for example, take this money to a company like Roofings or Uganda Bati, that is through any given ministry. Take the money from maybe the office of the Prime Minister to Roofings, make the order, let Roofings do this particular delivery. Because at the end of the day, a private company will want to, protect its image, and they will have to deliver. I don't know why we have to give money to these people.
No, it is the ministry supposed to distribute.
Okay.
Actually, the money wasn't. The items were bought.
And the items
were bought.
Some person had them on their farm.
Yeah, but it is the ministry in charge supposed to distribute these items to the vulnerable, to the people supposed to receive them. Now the problem came in distribution. The money was not, the money aspect is, the items were bought, the goats were bought. But when it came to delivering, distributing these goats to whoever's supposed to receive them, that is where the issue came, this whole issue. They are not blaming the contract, the money. Yes, Parliament passed this budget, the supplementary money, and then the items were bought. They were bought. But the distribution, that is where the problem came in. So I think this minister shouldn't be blamed alone. I think if someone is to go down, they have to, there are names that have been mentioned here. I don't think this minister should go down alone, because from Friday, and seeing the minister, she does not even remove the mask. She's scared. She's really, she wants to say something, and then she's like, she's under pressure. She cannot say some names, some big wigs who are involved, implicated in this whole thing. I think the president should take a keen interest on who is actually behind this whole thing. It is not her alone. I don't think it is her alone, according to me.
I even have a feeling that, if there are high chances that it's not the first time such scandals are happening. Just that it was just lucky that this was exposed. There are quite lots of, I see so many clips of private individuals reaching out to Karamajong, and when you really look through this, you can really cry. I mean, people giving out food, and you look at the Karamajongs very happy. These are private individuals, not government related. So probably, if iron sheets could be diverted, meaning there is lots and lots of aid that have been going to Karamoja, that have been diverted. That's why actually when Joram was talking about resignation of the minister, it's not being a double standard. This is very clear. You divert aid I mean, that means it's not the first time you're doing it. Just that this time around it has leaked. You know when they say the days of a thief are 40?
Yeah. All right. Anyway, we're still with Samla Hanifa here, and after the break, there's a huge discussion that we're going to be having, including the SMB on ground. But as we're getting into the break, remember to get your investing and investment started by simply using the USSD code *292# with Zabo. Zabo is a platform by Altex East Africa, which is making it very possible for you to invest and grow your investments today. You can invest in securities, inclusive of which the government bonds. And if you want to invest in government bonds, all you need to do is have 15,000 Ugandan shillings, and you will be able to kickstart your investment journey. Zabo, my money, my future. Altex East Africa says do something new. And what something new can you do today? Invest in government bonds and make it possible to grow those investments. Zabo, my money, my future. The market's open at 8:15 a.m. and closing time at 3:15 p.m. After the break, more discussions to come. Good morning.